everything changed the moment Maino finally decided he'd had enough. For years, DJ Akademiks has moved through the industry like an untouchable voice calling out rappers, exposing drama and stirring chaos from behind a screen. But this time, he picked the wrong target. And Maino didn't just clap back, he came with receipts nobody ever expected to see. From the second Maino hit post, the entire internet paused. Screenshots, timestamps, behind-the-scenes conversations, the kind of evidence that doesn't just bruise reputations. It shatters narratives. Suddenly, the loudest guy online looked a lot quieter, and the streets. They lit up instantly. People started asking the real questions. Why was this hidden? What were Akademiks covering up? And why does Maino sound like he's been sitting on a bombshell for years? This isn't a petty misunderstanding. This isn't friendly internet sparring. This is a collision of two completely different worlds, one built on clout and the other built on real-life respect. And when those worlds crash, someone is bound to get exposed. In this video, we're breaking down every message, every claim, every shady detail that Maino just dragged into the light. Because if you thought you already understood their beef, trust me, you've only been watching the surface. Tonight, the truth comes out. The moment Maino's screenshots hit the timeline, everything turned inside out. People weren't just watching anymore, they were investigating. Zooming in, replaying clips, comparing timestamps like detectives in a high-profile case. Because these weren't random posts. These were carefully chosen digital grenades. Each one pulling back another layer of the image Akademiks had built around himself for years. Suddenly, it wasn't clear who was controlling the narrative anymore. And that's what terrified people. Maino wasn't reacting. It was revealing. What caught everyone off guard was the calmness behind Maino's words. He didn't rant. He didn't scream. He didn't fire off reckless insults to trend for a day. He spoke like a man who had been collecting evidence, saving messages, sitting silently with truths too heavy to drop casually. The tone alone said it. This wasn't new to him, only new to us. And that realization made his silence over the years look a lot more like patience than passivity. One screenshot showed a private apology. Another showed Akademiks reaching out behind the scenes after clowning Maino publicly. Then came the message that shook the comment sections to their core, a message where Akademiks admitted he might have gone too far but wanted Maino to understand it's all content. That line spread like wildfire. People reposted it with circles, arrows, and dramatic music overlays. It wasn't just proof of hypocrisy, it was proof of fear. Akademiks trying to patch things up in private while playing tough online. That tore through his whole brand. And then, as if the internet wasn't overwhelmed enough, a voice note surfaced. Maino didn't even have to say where it came from. Fans recognized the tone instantly. Akademiks sounding shaken, stumbling over his words, talking fast like someone trying to undo an explosion he caused himself. The message wasn't long, but it didn't need to be. It was raw enough to expose everything the memes never showed. Vulnerability, panic, and a desperate attempt to stop something before it got worse. The reaction online was instant chaos. Twitter spaces opened by the minute. YouTubers raced to go live. Fan bases split into factions, some defending Akademiks, some cheering Maino, and some just enjoying the collapse of a facade they always suspected was too polished to be true. Then came the industry reactions, subtle but powerful. Rappers liking posts, producers dropping cryptic comments, blue-check insiders acting like they suddenly had stories they couldn't tell yet. It felt like dozens of unspoken secrets had been waiting for one person brave enough to break the dam. That person clearly was Maino. But the most shocking twist dropped not from Maino, but from the public. Someone resurfaced an old Akademiks livestream where he mentioned Maino's name casually. At the time, it seemed insignificant. Now, replaying it with the context of these receipts, it looked like foreshadowing. Akademiks wasn't just trolling. He was hinting at something bigger, something that had been brewing behind the scenes long before anyone paid attention. Suddenly, it wasn't Maino who seemed reactive. It was Akademiks who seemed obsessed. In one clip, Akademiks said he never got why Maino always acted so serious. That line, reposted thousands of times, now aged like milk. Because Maino's calmness was exactly what made his current revelations so deadly. He wasn't desperate. He wasn't clout chasing. He wasn't scrambling for relevance. He had the kind of confidence that only comes from knowing you hold the truth and knowing the person you're exposing knows it too, as fans kept dissecting every detail. More oddities surfaced. Old interviews where Akademiks avoided Maino's name suddenly looked strategic. Comments he made about certain rappers you don't play with suddenly made sense. And the sudden shift from clowning Maino to rarely mentioning him at all looked like the exact moment Akademiks realized Maino wasn't someone you could bait without consequences. Then, right when people thought they'd bait, uncovered everything. Another bomb dropped. Up. Second batch of receipts. This time, it wasn't texts. It wasn't voice notes. It was footage leaked backstage video. A moment no one knew existed. Akademiks and Maino face to face. In a tense conversation recorded by someone who clearly wasn't supposed to be recording. The audio was muffled, but you could hear the edge in Akademiks' voice. Defensiveness mixed with anxiety. You could hear Maino too, steady, controlled, clearly done with the nonsense. The entire clip lasted less than 20 seconds, but the energy was unmistakable. Akademiks didn't want smoke in person. Not even a spark. The clip spread so fast that Maino didn't even have to repost it himself. The internet did all the work. And every time someone replayed it, the narrative shifted a little further away from Akademiks' confidence and closer toward Maino's quiet power. Celebrities started chiming in. Some with laughing emojis. Some with cryptic told y'all messages. One well-known rapper tweeted, "People have been new," which instantly sent fans digging through old interviews to decode what that meant. Another posted, "Receipts don't lie," without naming names, but everyone knew exactly what she was referring to. Meanwhile, Akademiks stayed unusually quiet. Too quiet. No live stream. No response. No ranting. No laughing it off. People started counting the hours since he last posted, turning the silence itself into content. Memes erupted of Akademiks staring at his phone. Memes of Maino sitting on a throne. Memes of a peace treaty being written in the shadows. Some playful, some ruthless. All feeding the narrative that something behind the scenes had. Akademiks frozen. And that's when fans started whispering about a rumor that refused to go away. Akademiks allegedly reached out privately again. This time not to apologize, but to negotiate. That rumor alone sent shockwaves through the internet. Because if true, it meant Akademiks finally understood what Maino had understood from the beginning. This wasn't about jokes anymore. This was about integrity, respect, reputation, and those are things you can't clown your way out of. But the real cliffhanger hit when Maino posted one final message before going silent again. A message that didn't reveal anything new, but promised something much bigger. He wrote, "Y'all haven't even seen the rest. No context. No explanation. Just a warning." And with that one line, the internet fell into a frenzy. Because everyone knew exactly what that meant. The receipts so far were only the beginning. And the next batch might be the one that ends the conversation forever. The moment Maino's final warning hit the internet, everything went into lockdown mode. Fans weren't scrolling casually anymore. They were refreshing nonstop, waiting for the next leak like it was a national emergency. Even bloggers who usually circled drama from a safe distance suddenly abandoned neutrality. Everyone wanted a front row seat because there was a growing fear across social media that the next thing Maino dropped wouldn't just bruise reputations, it would bury careers. What threw gasoline on the fire was the sudden resurfacing of an old clip where Akademiks bragged about never folding to pressure. The internet replayed it endlessly, comparing it side by side with his current silence, creating a contrast so brutal it became its own storyline. Comments filled up with lines like, "This didn't age well and pressure's applying." Itself, every hour that passed. Without Akademiks, speaking only amplified the feeling that something was unraveling behind the curtain. Then, out of nowhere, a mysterious anonymous post appeared on a forum known for leaking industry secrets. It claimed to be from someone who had worked close to the situation. They wrote that Maino's next batch of receipts wasn't just bigger, it was dangerous. It allegedly included things that could change the way people in the industry interact with Akademiks forever. Whether the post was real or not didn't matter. It spread across platforms in seconds, twisting anxiety into full-scale panic. Fan accounts started posting countdown clocks. Some YouTubers began live streaming in advance, waiting for the moment Maino posted again, ready to dissect every pixel. Ready to dissect every pixel. And then something strange happened. People began noticing that Akademiks, its closest circle, the people he could always rely on to defend him, had gone quiet too. No supportive tweets. No playful teasing. No attempts to defuse the situation. Normally, his crew would jump in, crack jokes, stir the pot. But now, nothing. The silence from his own side was louder than any smear campaign. It was the digital equivalent of a sinking ship whose crew quietly slipped away before the captain even realized the water was rising. Rumors started spreading that a private group chat had leaked, showing Akademiks' own friends telling him to chill and let it pass. One even supposedly said, "You might have messed with the wrong one this time." Screenshots of that alleged chat circulated everywhere. Real or not, but they fit so perfectly with the current tension that people accepted them instantly. Whether the messages were genuine didn't matter. They matched the energy of the moment too well. Meanwhile, Maino remained completely silent. Until his Instagram story flashed with a single dark, grainy image, a blurred room. Shadows of people talking. A caption, "Remember this." That was it, but it detonated instantly. People started enhancing the photo, throwing filters over it, adjusting the brightness, trying to identify the figures in the background. Within minutes, users claimed they saw Akademiks seated, leaning forward, talking intensely to someone. Theories erupted that this was footage from a meeting nobody knew took place, a private talk that predated the receipts. The idea alone twisted the storyline into a darker direction. Maybe this beef didn't start online. Maybe it started way before, in a room nobody was supposed to know existed. When bloggers began comparing the blurred silhouette in Maino's photo to a picture of Akademiks from the same year, the internet exploded. People swore the hairline matched, the posture matched, even the clothing style matched. Suddenly, what was once a vague threat turned into confirmation in the minds of thousands. Maino had proof of deeper conversations. Proof. Akademiks didn't want the public dot, and right when the internet started spinning into conspiracy mode, everything got even stranger. A short, low-quality video appeared on TikTok, posted by an anonymous account that had never posted anything before. It was filmed from behind a door, slightly cracked open. You could see two people in a heated conversation. The audio was muffled, distorted, but you could hear one voice loud, frantic, borderline panicked. It sounded unmistakably like Akademiks. The other voice remained calm, quiet, controlled the same energy Maino displayed publicly. The video lasted only 12 seconds. But it changed everything. People began analyzing it frame by frame. Some claimed they enhanced the audio and heard Akademiks saying, "I'm not trying to take it there." Others swore they heard Maino respond, "Too late." Whether accurate or not, the narrative solidified. This wasn't just online back and forth. This was a private conversation Maino had been sitting on for years, and now, piece by piece, he was letting the world peek behind the curtain as fans dissected the clip. A new wave of celebrities joined the chaos. A Brooklyn rapper posted "Ain't Nobody Surprised," which many interpreted as shade toward Akademiks. A singer commented, "Receipts always hit differently when the quiet one starts talking." Even a retired music executive dropped a cryptic message. "People have been knowing the truth. Internet catching up. Every celebrity reaction made the situation more volatile, pushing Akademiks deeper into the spotlight. But in the worst way possible, as someone whose private words didn't match his public bravado. The narrative shifted from Maino exposes Akademiks to something much more damaging. Akademiks were terrified of Maino behind the scenes. That's when the live viewership surged everywhere. People were waiting for Akademiks to explode, respond, defend himself, rant, anything. But he didn't. He stayed offline, which only made the speculation worse. Then an insider on X posted a claim that sent the internet into meltdown. Akademiks allegedly reached out to a mutual friend of his and Maino's to mediate before things escalated. The friend reportedly declined, saying the situation was beyond mediation now. The post went viral instantly, sparking debates about whether Akademiks had finally realized the scale of the mess he was in. And just as the internet started doubting the next move, Maino reappeared, but not with screenshots, not with video, not with voice notes. Instead, he posted a single sentence. "Should I show the part where he cried?" The world stopped. Comments flew in by the thousands. People begged him to drop it. Others warned him not to. Some accused him of bluffing. But the tone of Maino's message, icy, emotionless, deliberate, didn't read like a bluff. It read like he was asking the public a question only to watch them panic. It read like a man holding something so explosive that even teasing it caused shockwaves. Within minutes, hashtags erupted. Memes went viral. Twitter spaces filled. The top trending topic became, "He cried." Everyone argued. Everyone theorized. But one thing became undeniably clear. Maino wasn't done. And Akademiks weren't ready. The internet wasn't just waiting for the next receipt, it was bracing for it. Because if Maino truly had footage that showed Akademiks breaking down, everything Akademiks built, the bravado, the persona, the fearless commentator image would collapse instantly. And Maino's final late-night post confirmed everyone's worst fear. This next one changes everything. The world was holding its breath. Maino's cryptic message, "This next one changes everything," wasn't just a tease. It was a declaration of war. The comment sections exploded instantly. Hashtags trended like wildfire. And live streams went into overdrive as fans tried to anticipate the next move. Nobody slept that night. Not because of the drama they could see, but because of what they suspected was coming. Maino had the power now, and Akademiks knew it. Hours later, the first clip dropped. Short, grainy, but unmistakable. It showed Akademiks alone in a room, pacing nervously, muttering under his breath. The audio was crystal clear in parts. Words like, "I can't believe this," and "it's over" pierced the silence. The internet exploded. Screenshots flooded Twitter. TikTok blew up. YouTube channels uploaded reaction videos in record time. And in every corner of social media, fans were dissecting every frame. People could not believe what they were seeing. The unshakable online personality. The confident commentator was visibly shaken. But the twist wasn't just the footage. It was the messages that accompanied it. Maino captioned the clip. "You wanted receipts. Here's the proof." The real one. Fans immediately recognized the tone. Calm, controlled, devastating. Maino wasn't attacking recklessly. He was dismantling. Every online post, every hint, every insider story he'd dropped over the last few days built to this moment. It wasn't entertainment. It was exposure. And the crowd could feel the weight of it. Then came the leaked DM screenshots. They were brutal. Akademiks begging for understanding. Akademiks admitting to exaggerating situations for clout. Akademiks even acknowledging that he misrepresented Maino publicly to create content. Every screenshot was dissected, shared, reposted, and analyzed. Headlines across blogs changed in real time. Maino destroys Akademiks with unseen proof, screamed one site. Receipts that could end a career, shouted another. Social media chaos had officially reached a fever pitch. Celebrity reactions poured in, each more shocking than the last. A major rapper commented cryptically, "This is why you don't underestimate the quiet ones." Another influencer dropped, Receipts always hit harder than rumors. Every reaction amplified the fire, pushing Akademiks further into the storm. Meanwhile, fan accounts began digging deeper into Maino's past posts, looking for foreshadowing connections, any hint that this explosion had been building for years. They found everything. And the story became a legend in real time. Then, as if things weren't dramatic enough, the most devastating clip yet surfaced. Akademiks face-to-face with Maino in a private studio were caught entirely on camera. His expression was tense. His hands fidgeted, and the audio captured him admitting to things he had never said publicly, trying to manipulate narratives. Downplay Maino's influence, even planning content that painted Maino as the aggressor. The video lasted barely a minute, but it was enough. Enough to shake fans, industry insiders, and casual observers alike. Akademiks' public image, the invincible, untouchable commentator, was crumbling. The backlash was immediate. Comment sections were flooded with shock, disbelief, and mockery. Memes exploded everywhere, pairing Akademiks' expressions with captions like, "When receipts hit harder than clout," or "Silent now, because truth doesn't play." Twitter Spaces erupted into full-blown debates. Some defended Akademiks, claiming Maino was too harsh. Others celebrated the exposure, saying it was long overdue. No matter the angle, one thing was clear. This wasn't just a story anymore. It was a cultural moment. It was a cultural moment. Then came the final unthinkable twist. A new leak, text messages between Akademiks and other industry figures, showed that he had been trying to control the narrative even after Maino's drops. He had planned posts, pre-written responses, even backup live streams to defend himself. But nothing worked. Every move he made was anticipated, countered, and exposed. Maino had him not just on the defensive, he had him completely cornered. Fans speculated that Akademiks had never faced someone so calculated, someone so prepared, someone who understood the full weight of truth. And just when people thought that chaos had peaked, Maino went silent again. No posts, no hints, only the lingering question, what's next? The suspense gripped the internet like a vice. Everyone knew this wasn't over, not by a long shot. Akademiks remained mostly silent, reacting only in subtle online gestures. But every fan knew it was only a matter of time before more evidence, more footage, more receipts surfaced. Maino had the power now, and he wasn't finished. This final act wasn't just about winning a beef. It was about rewriting the rules, about showing that no amount of clout or commentary could shield someone from the truth. Every leak, every clip, every screenshot built toward an undeniable reality. Maino had set the bar. And Akademiks had nowhere to hide. Fans across platforms watched, analyzed, and waited, knowing that the story would continue to ripple through the industry long after the initial drops. By the time the dust settled, one thing was clear. Maino had not just fired back, he had changed the game. Akademiks wasn't just embarrassed. He was exposed, and the internet had witnessed a full-blown takedown. Piece by piece, layer by layer, like a slow-motion demolition of a carefully constructed persona. Maino had the receipts. Maino had the power. And Akademiks had learned the hard way that some quiet ones are the most dangerous of all. The story ended for now, leaving the internet, the industry, and fans alike hanging on every possible hint, rumor, and drop, knowing deep down that the next chapter could erupt at any moment. You've seen it all unfold. Maino exposing DJ Akademiks, receipts dropping, private clips surfacing, the internet losing its mind. But this isn't over. The story is still alive, still twisting, and every second counts. If you think you've seen the full picture, think again. Every like, every comment, every share is a part of this story spreading across the streets, across the internet. And into the eyes of the people who care the most, we're on the edge of something explosive, and you get to witness it live. Do not scroll past. Do not wait. Every second you hesitate is another moment you miss the drama, the chaos, and the receipts that could change everything. You want the full leaks, the reactions, the secrets nobody else will tell. It's all right here. But only if you're paying attention. So smash that like button if you want the truth exposed. Drop a comment telling us what you think, who really has the upper hand. And hit subscribe to never miss the next drop because, trust me, Maino isn't done. DJ Akademiks' world is still shaking and the next reveal could turn everything upside down. Do it now. Be part of this moment. Because when the next wave of receipts hits, you'll want to say, I saw it first. Miss it, and you're out. The drama, the chaos, the shock, it's real. And it's happening. And it's happening.